We're back on your screens. Benjamin Akapo, just smiling at you.
Yeah, because there's a crucial issue to address. We're looking at the passports, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, basically, passports and other services that are to be rendered, and the cost of same. So we're going to activate the phone lines, even before we go to Cape Coast and pick some thoughts from there. 0302-211-692. 0302-211-692. What is your reaction to this? But on the back of that, we're heading to Cape Coast to actually find out what the reactions of people have been on this latest development.
So if you increasing the passport fee, let me use the 32 pages standard from 100 cedis to 500 cedis is outrageous and abnormal. I don't know the reason behind these increments, but as a country and increasing the passport from 100 to 500 cedis, you should have even consulted the citizens. And last night I heard or I saw this information online about the Minister of Foreign Affairs saying that comparing the passport fee to air tickets and other countries like Togo. And I think this shouldn't be the case. We are in Ghana and you are comparing our passport fee to that of Togo. And if maybe their reason is they want to restrict us from travel, that's fine. But increasing this from 100 to 500 cedis, no. It's not good at all. I don't. Maybe they want to raise funds for other projects. Tell us, we will support. But from 100 cedis to 500 cedis, it's more than 300%, and it's too much. Maybe from 100 to 200 or 150, it's okay. So I will plead with the government and the ministry to think about this thing again and reframe the price. Yes, or maybe maintain it. Because we thought this online thing will make things very, very affordable and transparent to us, but increasing it to this amount, I think it is very bad.
The money is too much. 100 Ghana to 500 is too much. Difference 400. This is too much. I think something should be done about it. Because how many people can pay this money? Look at the economy that we are in now. It's just too much. So they should do something about it. I think because these days nurses are traveling in and out, it's like it's now on nurses. So the money has to be increased because a lot of nurses are traveling now. So if they do it that way, I think they will get money. So they should do something about it. Because if the government, does something about salary of nurses, then nurses will stay in the country for them to work. So they should do something about it.
It will not help Ghana. It will not help Ghana because the more people are traveling to abroad, they work and then bring interest into the system. So when you increase that price to that high level, how can you go? You stay, now so the economy is difficult now. I'm a taxi driver. Every day when I come work, I use all the money to buy petrol. So if there's someone I have business at abroad and I have my 100 cedis, get my passports, do process, then I go. It's better. So now you increase it. It's no good. It's no good. That's a problem. It's no good. So the leaders should do something about it. Because we are suffering. Yeah, we are suffering.
How do you make of this new passport?
In fact, the fee is too much. At least, if they make it at least 1.5 or 150 cedis, I think it will solve our problem for us. People will not agree. But the thing is, everyone wants to go to outside for a living because the country, the cost is too much for us. So everyone wants to go to outside for 11 or for something small. So even if they increase it to 500 cities, they will go. But some of us, we will not get that money. So we are pleading to them that they should try and come down at least more than 50 cities. It's okay for us.
Oh, I think it's too high. I think it's too high because already we can't afford it when it was low. But now it's almost 500. It's hard for us to do it. So that means they don't want us to, to travel. That I can say. I think they should remain the old fare. They should remain on old fare. They should rely on old fare, old amount, because this one we can't afford it. They want to kill us. That's the real thing I foresee. They want to kill us in Ghana here. That's why they are doing that.
Well, those were some thoughts being shared by those in Cape Coast, and they say this is far too much for them. They would like a reduction in prices. I think that would be the general outcry per the citizenry, because when you look at the cost of things, it's really dicey. And that's what we've heard the lawmaker, member of parliament for South Tong, I believe, Okudzeto Ablakwa, also make mention of. He joins us via phone now. Mr. Ablakwa, a very good morning to you.
Hi, good morning, Benjamin.
I hope you're well.
I'm good. How about you?
I'm okay, under the circumstances. Let's start from the very start. You've been talking a lot about this latest release by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but how did you receive it right from the start, these increments which we are talking about?
So first of all, let me just quickly correct that my constituency is North Tong, not South.
I always get it twisted. Something in my head was saying North Tong.
Yes,
my apologies for that.
Yes, no, that's okay. That's okay.
Right.
Yes. So when the minister first raised this matter before our committee, the Foreign Affairs Committee, it came to us as a shock, because I made clear at that meeting, without hesitating at all, that the timing is horrendous. Even though the minister considered that she had not carried out periodic review, she had left the rate as it was for a long time. I said that this cannot be the time. And colleagues on the committee, NDC MPs, were all adamant that if you look at the unprecedented economic hardship we are going through, for the first time in our country's history, we are going through a domestic debt exchange program. This never happened. People are being compelled to take financial haircuts. Inflation at the time, inflation was more than 50%. I don't remember the last time inflation was more than 50%. And then you look at the exchange rate, and which really official don't take responsibility for. Those in government who are responsible for managing the exchange rate, they fail to manage the exchange rate. Then they turn around and say that because we fail to manage the exchange rate, we want to punish you, the citizens, for that, when it was not the citizens' responsibility to manage the exchange rate. So we made clear that all of these justifications being given, including the justification that this has now become one of the lowest in the sub-region, and they compare us with a lot of countries where we even have a much bigger population. You know that in printing, the more you print, the lesser the cost, and there's economies of scale and all of that, which is not being factored in the analysis, including the fact that this whole procurement process is also not very competitive, and so you're not sure that you are getting value for money. So we said that we are not convinced that this is the time for it. We recommended that they could wait when the economic conditions improve. then they can adopt a gradualist approach. Even that, we said they should adopt a gradualist approach, not in one fell swoop, slapping Ghanaians with these astronomical hikes. But we now know that they didn't take our recommendations. They took advantage of the fees and charges review, inserted it in there, and so it didn't come back to our committee. It was late, and I must clarify that once this is late, it required 2/3 of MPs voting against this ally because it matures in 21 days. It's like a moving train, and to stop this moving train, you need 2/3 of MPs, and we don't have the numbers. We don't have 2/3, and so we couldn't stop it. So this is really what transpired in the House. And if you ask for the minutes of the Foreign Affairs Committee sitting, and this matter came up, if you like, even as an anecdote, as a side issue, because we were considering the 2024 budget estimate. That was when hints were dropped. So it was not even fully before us as a committee. She just dropped those hints, and then we said that, look, this is not a matter that you should be considering at this time. But clearly, the ministry didn't listen to us, and they have gone ahead to do this. I must say that we are very, very outraged. We are disappointed. We think that this is so insensitive. It is unconscionable. It does not take into consideration the current conditions, the cost of living crisis, and the economic plight of Ghanaians. I must also add that there is a certain erroneous notion out there. I've heard officials of the ministry and the government say that, oh, even the cost of tickets have gone up and that it's a luxury to travel and all of that. They are totally wrong. Look, there are so many constituents of ours, so many Ghanaians who travel out of necessity. I mean, take students, for example, who have to travel. They have scholarships, and you expect them to be paying these rates. It's not everybody who is traveling as some rich tourist who is going to see the world. Take those, for example, who need some urgent medical attention, and they can't have that, medical issue resolved in Ghana. It's not a luxury for that person to travel. Those who may have family issues and all of that, as a family member who traveled abroad who has fallen into one difficulty or the other, and you have to, go intervene. These are not, luxury matters. Matters that you say that it is only for the rich elites to afford. So that
Mr. Ablakwa, I get the point.
Discarded.
I get the point you're making, but a quick one. Have we sat down to assess what it costs to produce these booklets, these documents, vis-a-vis the new pricing regime? Is it exorbitant? Is that what you're saying? We do know that in some jurisdictions, these are practically given out for free. But in our circumstances, what is wrong with it, basically?
So we take the view that there has always been two different regimes. So you have the ordinary passport, if you want to get it in the normal time, if it's 2 weeks to a month, that has always been subsidized as a country historically. And then you can have the other group of passports that if you want the expedited service, you want the bigger number of pages for those who travel a lot, those ones are for people in a certain, particularly business people who have the means to afford. But if you look at the current price hikes, all the categories have been affected. It does not leave room at all for ordinary folk, the vulnerable category, which goes against the grain of what this country has always done, if you look at what previous foreign ministers have maintained. So this is the problem. And then we are also concerned about the financial analysis. we have been asking at the level of the committee that let us know, bring us the numbers right from the procurement process, because from what we have gathered, the procurement process is not even competitive. And you lose out on effective pricing, on value for money, when it is not competitive. Because when it's not competitive, I mean, these businesses will just quote anything they want. So right from the procurement process up to even the financials, even the nature of the passport. I know, for example, that there are plans to have a chip embedded passport. These rates are going for the old biometric passport. What will happen when the chip embedded passport are brought on board? All of these analyses have not been provided. So far as we are concerned, this matter was rushed, and it doesn't portend well for us.
Well, I understand that passports are a big business, and the cost of a passport should align with the average income of a country. Governments like to brag about having the most advanced passports in the world. So perhaps this is their way of saying they're updating our passports to include these chip-embedded passports. I don't know what you think about that. Maybe this is a way at the beginning stage of advancing our passports so that they can compete with the rest of the world.
Well, Ghana has always done well in terms of making sure that our passports are among the
let me chip in. That currently we rank at 76 in the world. Globally, Ghana's passport ranks 76th. So maybe
yes, we know that. That's why I was saying earlier that there are plans to introduce the chip embedded passport. If you go online now to apply under this new application fee regime, the passport that will be given to you, issued to you, is the old passport, is the old biometric passport, not the modern chip embedded passport, which a lot of countries have moved to. So that point that you are, if government wanted to make that point, then they should have waited for the chip embedded passports to be ready, and then apply these new rates. Even that, I don't think that there will be justification, because the way and manner they have done it, we recommended that they should wait for better economic times. Then they do a gradualist implementation of these new rates, because you yourself admit that for many years you have not been looking at the fees. So why do an instant, one fell swoop, just a one-off slap on the suffering Ghanaian? So the chip embedded passport argument does not apply this instant, because that is not what you get when you pay. My will have been different if when you pay these new fees, you get chip embedded. Then I'll say that, okay, there's a new passport which is more expensive and has newer features, more modern features, and which come at a higher cost, and so probably the ministry has a point. But it's the same old passport you get when you apply. And why should we start paying for something that we are not going to get now? So I really don't get the head and tail of that argument.
You say you don't get the head and tail of it, but just to chip in, the Minister of Foreign Affairs said it is time for Ghanaians to pay realistic prices for passports they acquire to travel beginning next year. Realistic. That's why I was asking you the question about the cost of it, the real cost of these documents and everything in between. Are we being realistic from our standpoint? Because definitely for us, we want to save. So if you're moving from 100 to 500 or 600, yes, there'll be grumbling. But from their end, is it realistic to be performing these services at the prices that we're paying currently?
So you see, this is the issue we always have with government from the legislature. When you are coming forward to make these arguments, share the numbers with us. Share the numbers. You only tell us government is subsidizing. As ranking member of the Foreign Affairs Committee, I don't know how much. I have not.
You're saying as ranking member, even you do not know?
Yes, I do not know. They haven't shared any figures with us. Because I believe that for all you know, those who apply for the bigger passports with bigger, pages and who do the expedited service, for all you know, they are even subsidizing. Because inherent in this mechanism, which we have had for many years, is cross-subsidy, where the rich, those who go for expedited service, those who go for the bigger, passport booklet, eventually subsidize those in the other category who go for the ordinary passport, 32 pages, So share the numbers with us. If you claim that despite all of these services, expedited service, protocol service, VIP service, which comes at a very high rate, you claim that you are still subsidizing, share the numbers with us. Then we can agree with you. When you also compare with other countries, tell us how they are paying for it. What is the nature of the contract? The procurement process. We have asked all these questions. It's not enough to just come tell us that, Togo, Benin, Liberia, when you know that this analysis can be misleading. We have higher numbers, and in printing, the more you print, the lower the cost, and all of that. The procurement process, if it is more competitive, you are likely to have more value for money. So share all of these details with us. Even at the level of the Foreign Affairs Committee, we don't have that. So how do you expect us to be convinced that indeed there is some great subsidy going on, that government can no longer sustain the subsidy? When I go through the budget, even the Ministry of Foreign Affairs' own budget, the Ministry of Finance's budget, I don't see any line item about subsidy for passports.
Have you requested for these numbers?
They have never declared that.
Have you requested for these numbers to be given, to be provided? Especially now that it's out now. Have you requested? What was the response?
Long ago, time without number.
What was the response?
We said that to even really begin these discussions and to delve into these matters, let us have all of these numbers. We have not been provided. We have not been provided. And look, there are so many things we have requested that we have not been provided. For example, if you take the Accra International Conference Center, the plans to demolish it and to put up a new one, we have been demanding the structural integrity report for years. They have not provided. The ministry has a penchant of really sitting on information, not opening up and being transparent. And that's one of the difficulties we have.
Well, how about you escalate? If they're refusing to provide information and you need information to also do your work, how about escalating? The next step?
Yes, so that's a brilliant question. So that's what we have been resorting to. For example, you'll notice a few weeks ago on this issuance of diplomatic passports to Reverend Victor Kusigwatin, Kwabena Edu-Gyamfi, when we're not getting the responses we need, I filed an urgent question at plenary, and she had to come respond to it a couple of weeks ago. So that's what we are going to do. We're going to use other parliamentary tools. I will be filing urgent questions and then a half-hour motion on this whole matter of the passport regime. Why are they changing the policy? This claim of subsidy, are we really sure that taxpayers are subsidizing? When we have always known that inherent in this structure, how these Ghana's passports were structured, we have always had a system where the rich passport applicants, those who go for, the expedited VIP services, have a way of subsidizing the other vulnerable category. What has changed? How come there is a claim that taxpayers are still subsidizing? So we will definitely escalate, as we always do, and we hope that we will get the details when we do that.
My final bit to you, Mr. Ablakwa. So I don't know whether legally or from the committee level, these will be rolled out. Are you going to push for any stay of the new charges? Do you have that as part of your plan?
Yes, so in the statement we put out, we gave the ministry two options. We are saying that the first option, which we will really welcome, is for them to just do an immediate review. Fortunately, when these fees and charges really gives you the ceiling, what you cannot go beyond. But anything below that is allowed. And so we want the ministry to administratively use their discretion to review these rates. It's just too exorbitant. And and they should gauge from the public reaction. They should see the outreach, the uproar out there, and be a listening government and respond. So that's the first option we've given them. The second option we have put on the table is that if that fails, when the House returns from recess, we are going to file processes on the floor that will trigger a review. And that could get quite heated. And that will also take some time. That is why we are advocating that the ministry should take the first option. The government, the president should intervene. The president should, because I'm sure these matters went to cabinet, so the president cannot claim not to know about this. So the president should listen to his citizens, the uproar, the outrage, and use his discretion, which will be allowed within the remit of the airline to review this. But if that fails, then we'll be compelled to trigger certain actions on the floor of the House when the House resumes.
Well, thank you so much, Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa, MP for North Tong, for shedding light on this passport prices, new passport prices for us. Benjamin, what's interesting about what you were saying about realistic charges is that maybe we need to expand our income bracket to accommodate these prices. If indeed this is the best they can do, if this is realistic, then we are the ones suffering.
I mean, part of what the Committee on Foreign Affairs reports on the 2024 budget estimates of the ministry is that it stands at $7.70, if what I'm seeing here is correct, marking the lowest rate in the West African sub-region. And the comparative shows that Cameroon charges $180, Guinea 57, Guinea-Bissau 65, Burkina Faso 80, and Nigeria 54.29. So let's see. Let's see
These are in dollars. If you convert to their currency, it sounds like it's in the same line with what they're proposing now for our passports.
Yeah. So time will tell, but definitely the economic situation right now does not give room for people the ordinary Kwames and Amas to be paying such.
I'm wondering what they have to say about this.
Yeah, let's bring them in.
Yeah.
Our guests, of course, we've already invited you, but now, yes, the party has started. You can call and share your thoughts with us, 0302-211-692, 0302-211-692. What are your thoughts for us? We have a first caller.
Yes. Hello, good morning. Welcome to the AM show. Share your thoughts with us.
Good morning, madam. My name is Fatal. I'm calling from Tamale.
Okay. Go ahead, Fatal.
Yes. In fact, the increment is too exorbitant. It is not easy for us at all. And what is even more worrying is that when you apply for the passport, they will give you a date. The date will come, you will go there, they have not processed the thing at all. It takes so much. So even if the increment was done and you go there, they give you the date and you go there and it's spread, it will be better. But with this increment, you will still go, you don't get it. You will have to go and come, go and come, go and come. So their services are very, very bad. Yes.
Well, thank you, Fatal from Tamale. Benjamin, you know the elephant in the room is although the previous cost for securing a passport was around 100 cedis, you don't actually just pay 100 cedis. You can pay as much as 1,000 cedis, depending on how fast you want a passport. So now that we're around 600 and something Ghana cedis, imagine if you want to fast track to get a passport. You're looking at somewhere between 3,000, 4,000 Ghana cedis.
I mean, we do not have all the facts, but it's going to be costly.
Yeah.
But then again,
I don't know if anyone who's paid 100 cedis to secure a passport.
There are stratifications, like Okudzeto Ablakwa rightly said. There are some people who travel so often that they would want bigger booklets rather than the 32 pages that many people would go for. All those services come with extra charges. So if you're going for a certain belt of services, then you know that, well, you must pay the price for that. if you call the tune, you must be ready to pay the piper. Yeah. We're still awaiting your calls. We heard from those in Cape Coast, but we'd love to hear from you as well. 0302-211-692. 0302-211-692. Let's know what your thoughts are on this matter. And I'm also curious, some of you have spoken, yes, but how much would be okay for you to pay? How much? If it's not 100 cedis, you don't prefer 500 to 600 cedis, but how much would be okay for you? You can share that thought with us as well. We have a caller from Kumasi. Is it Akonaba?
Yeah, my brother, your school brother.
How are you, Akonaba?
I'm fine, but the pocket is empty.
The pocket, Do you have a passport already?
Oh, yeah. I was lucky. I did mine somewhere last year, December. So for 10 years, I will not be paying this money. But John Mama will reverse it, I believe so.
You've gone through the window. Let's not politicize this one because, Charlie, the passport system, you've heard the Minister for Foreign Affairs. She says it's about paying realistic prices. Are we being realistic, Akonaba?
Oh, my brother, good morning. And let me say, my beautiful sister is looking nice. I love her hairstyle. You see, if Honorable Ayokobotre Esquire says that you have to pay realistic prices, then it is making, quote-unquote, nonsense of the promises that Dr. Bawumia says he's going to do in terms of taxes. Because Dr. Bawumia is getting the impression that as it stands now, he is the mate. And because he is the mate, Ghanaians are suffering. And as a matter of fact, he needs to reduce the taxes in order to reduce the burden on Ghanaians. So if the same minister comes and says you have to pay realistic price, whereby Ghanaians are suffering, is it not contradicting what Dr. Bawumia is trying to preach? And you see, was Dr. Bawumia not part of the cabinet, or was Dr. Bawumia not aware of this? What is he saying? My focus is on Dr. Bawumia because you see, now he says he's the mate and he's come to be the driver. So Ghanaians, you see the suffering that they are going to make us go through. Now we are suffering. We cannot buy food. Our electrical appliances all are spoiled because of the doomsday. The ECG is not being allowed to give us a timetable so that you plan when you are going out off your fridge. They will not give you a timetable. The light now comes for people like a traffic light. All these things we have kept quiet. And you've also brought an austere price. How can we manage this? So let me ask Dr. Bawumia, those children or those young adults who have completed SHS, if they say they want to make a passport, are they to cough up these 700 cedis or 500 cedis? Where are they going to get the money from? Even national service, you are not paying. My brother, you see, the only thing to solve this thing, other than that, we are going to talk is to vote Dr. Bawumia out.
Right.
We should vote him out.
Thank you for your thoughts, Akonaba. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Let's give the opportunity to others as well to call through.
It's just bad timing, you know? It's just really bad timing.
I mean, you can understand the Foreign Affairs Ministry from some standpoint. I just wish they could explain further. Like, it's a problem if Okudzeto Ablakwa, the committee he sits on, if he even doesn't have the information, you see, it becomes problematic communicating to the masses what the situation may be. But at the same time, on the other side, looking at the economic situation, timing couldn't be worse.
Okay. David is on the line from Dowenya. Good morning, David. Add your voice to this passport situation.
Oh, thank you so much.
Go ahead.
Actually, the increment of the passport is not an issue. And we believe Ghanaians, we are ready to pay all these taxes or this increment. But see, the government of the day also have to see that is the economy very friendly to everybody. Trust me, there's someone in the village who is doing well because of the economic situation. He wants to travel outside this country. Trust me, even the people who are traveling outside this country, not all of them are responsible. Some of them are selling their family properties to try their luck, even when they went outside this country to seek for greener pastures, if they can be able to survive. So even they should bear in mind that people traveling outside this country, it's not automatically that they are going to be resourceful or they are going to be wealthy. So the government of the day has to look at all these dynamics before increasing the passport fee. So it is so sad, and we are praying for a betterment of our country. I will plead with our fellow citizens that they shouldn't politicize most of these current happenings in the country. But we should want the best of the country, whether NPP or NDC, it should be the best or the best interest of this country. That is only what we are calling for.
Thank you, David, for sharing your thoughts with us, and that's all we can take on the show today. But